my name is Hannah Simmons, and this is my persuasive speech. Here is my 3 audience members. So, good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here today. I would like to talk about a subject that is that impacts millions of people, but often remains in the shadows, which is youth mental health. So here's my presentation, Breaking the Silence and Addressing the Youth Mental Health Crisis. Silent epidemic in our schools. Here I have a graph with some shocking statistics regarding the amount of percentage of high schoolers that have reported persistent sadness and hopelessness. These numbers are increasing drastically within the last decade. The hidden struggle. Most teens suffer in silence due to the stigma or fear and lack of resources. Why action can't wait? The public health crisis is only getting worse. The suicide rate among young people has been increased by 56% in the last decade. This needs to change. This is important in our community and being able for us to support this crisis. Some solutions that I've researched that can work are programs like the Hope Squad to help train students to recognize warning signs and offer support. Social emotional learning. Social emotional learning programs teach teens skills to manage stress, improve emotional resilience, and build empathy. Mental health screenings, which I find very important. I feel like everyone should have them. Early identification through routine mental health screenings in schools help catch these problems easily to help get it before it gets too far. Access to therapy. Increased funding for school-based mental health services ensures that each student can access therapy and counseling. And having a safe space for these students who are feeling hopeless and depressed. Having a peace room in schools. It provides a quiet and supportive environment for students to cope with these emotions. What if we act or don't? So if we act, we will hopefully, the goal is to notice reduced suicide rates. With better support and resources, teen suicide rates can drastically decrease. Improve academic performance. Students with access to mental health support are more likely to stay in school and succeed academically. Stronger communities. Schools will become places of empathy and understanding, with students supporting each other and destigmatizing mental health. Better emotional health. Teens would be better equipped to manage stress and cope with challenges and form healthy relationships. Long-term social impact. A generation raised with mental health education will be better prepared to create inclusive and supportive communities for everyone. A lot of families are uneducated about the severity of mental health, and they don't notice the signs before sometimes it's too late. So today I'm encouraging you to be the change by supporting mental health programs such as the Hope Squad, social emotional programs, and mental health screenings in your local schools. Advocate for these programs. Start conversations. Break the stigma by talking openly about mental health with your friends and your family and community, and encouraging others to seek help when needed. Volunteering with mental health organizations. A lot of these organizations are not funded, and they're, it is hard to get at each school. But if you offer your time for groups that support this crisis, such as the National Alliance on Mental Illness or Mental Health America. Donate, contribute to organizations that fund mental health services for schools and communities in need. Push for better school resources. As a teacher myself, I find this very important to advocate for more funding for school counselors and mental health professionals so that every student has access to the help that they need. Supporting minority youth, educating yourself and others, learn more about mental health challenges teens face, and educate others, especially if you're a parent, teacher, or if you're a community leader. Take action in your school. Start a peer support group or initiate a campaign that promotes mental health awareness and emotional well-being. Here I have my sources. Now we're going to move on to the question and answering section of this persuasive speech.
Yes. What if a school doesn't have the funding to implement these programs?
That's a very important question, and that's the case a lot of times. If you don't have funding for these, you can reach out to local nonprofit organizations. There are hotlines that can be of help, encouraging your school to push for more funding to support these students in need.
Very good. How can students help their peers who are struggling with mental health?
So I think that students are around their friends quite often, and they more than likely will probably notice before a lot of people that their friends are suffering. So in this case, they can support them by encouraging them to speak with a trusted adult, encouraging them to go to clubs or organizations to talk about their feelings and seek help.
What role do parents and families play in supporting youth mental health?
Parents and families make a tremendous impact on youth mental health, where they can be aware and have open eyes and see what's going on. They are looking out for anxiety, depression, noticing mood changes in the child or children, so they can hopefully stop the problem before it gets too worse, and encouraging and having an open space at home so that the kids feel open to speaking about their feelings and not being in fear. All right. Thank you so much for my persuasive speech, and I hope you take action today.